Right then, how are we all feeling? What's going on, people, and welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, host Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I genuinely do hope that, and welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily show here on the channel where I reflect on what's being said about Chelsea from across global footballing news, world media, see what's being said, give you my thoughts on it. But as always, more importantly, asking for yours. Today we're speaking about a bunch of stuff. Pender's got man of the match for Strasbourg in a loss, but that's nice for him. The young Kazakh striker that apparently is going to be joining the Chelsea first team. What? Chelsea obsessed, previously employed by Manchester City whopper Stefan Borson has been speaking about Chelsea's situation with the main frontline sponsor again, so a little update on that. Sky Sports France, oui, mais oui, are talking about Chelsea's goalkeeper situation. And of course, unsurprisingly, Mike Maignan name's come up again, but also, rather interestingly, and not for the first time, Andre ter Stegen. Ooh. Finally, a reiteration from the big global news machine that Chelsea could be looking at Deo Upamecano, who apparently is on £168,000 per week, which is less than the likes of Caicedo and possibly Fernandes. Heck, their wages Chelsea pay. Should we do that? You decide, but strap yourselves in and get comfortable. It's going to be a great video. I'm so grateful to have you here with me. If you enjoy the content, do the right thing. Like and subscribe. And if you choose to subscribe, hit the bell. Remember, we're on the road to 200,000. That's right, 200,000 subs, which is loads of people. You can become one of them. Why not drop your hype points on the video, hype up the video. That's good. Apparently, I'm reliably informed. Other than that, let's get into it. Right, starting off with Mike Penders. Got man of the match for Strasbourg, saving a penalty. Now, I did watch this game, and Strasbourg were very good, but Decore got an own goal and a red card. Kind of screwing everything up for Liam Rosenior's side, but I was very impressed watching them. It's a shame that defender had a howler, because otherwise Strasbourg could have definitely won this game. They actually had more shots than Lyon, despite having a man down. But yeah, Penders won man of the match, which is important. We should be keeping an eye on him. Obviously, it's still early days. We'll see at the end of the season how well he's performed his underlying metrics. And is he ready to become Chelsea's #1 goalkeeper? And how has Sanchez performed throughout the entirety of this season in the Chelsea shirt? Of course, later on in this video, we are going to react to what Sky Sports have been saying about Chelsea maybe getting a new goalkeeper, possibly in January as well, which seems kind of wild. Yeah, peculiar. We'll get into that, but it's nice for Mike Penders that he's settling into European football. And what is a great team is Strasbourg. They are doing bits. But let's move on and speak about another young Chelsea player that's not currently with us. And that is Dastan Satpaev. I think I'm saying that right. The young Kazakh striker who has not actually joined Chelsea yet, but the chairman of FC Karat, who of course is the team he plays for, said this: until he turns 18, he won't be able to move to England. So next season, he'll stay with us, playing for the first half of the season until June and August, and then he will join Chelsea's first team. So I guess the league schedules are different out in Kazakhstan. I think he's saying next summer he's joining, but really interesting to say he will join Chelsea's first team. So he's going to do an Estevao, turn 18, and join Chelsea's first team. Now look, we've got loads of young strikers. We do. And at the moment, I'd be much more interested in watching the likes of Shemueka get a chance in the Chelsea first team than this kid. But to be fair to this kid, he looks different gravy granules. He's mustard. If you've been watching his performances in the Champions League, he was scoring in the qualifiers, which is still a high level for a 17-year-old striker. The chairman of the club saying he's going to join the Chelsea first team. I mean, very interested to see what the plan is. Presumably, sign him up, take some photos, say, we got this kid, and send him out on loan. Possibly, and probably to Strasbourg. I would struggle to see him coming into the Chelsea first team, but heck, look, I'm open to young players coming in and doing very well, yeah? I'm not going to be prejudiced, especially since seeing, a very slight and petite Brazilian diminutive winger, attacking midfielder come into the Premier League and be like, this is easy. So I'm keeping an open mind. We'll see what happens with this lad, but interesting that the chairman of the club says, yeah, when he turns 18, he's going into Chelsea's first team. That may be true, but also what might be true is from a first team to a championship loan. Who knows? Right, let's move on. Cite something from Football Insider that's talking about what colossal whopper Stefan Borsen said about Chelsea's sponsorship situation. James Murray writes the following: Chelsea are still working to agree, of course, a new front of shirt sponsorship deal. Chelsea set an asking price for 60 million a year, but that's probably what's been the hold up. And of course, we recently reacted on The Athletic that after the confirmation of the sleeve sponsor, a main front of shirt sponsor is nearing a conclusion. It's very advanced and is expected in the quote near term. That was a few days ago. I reacted to said article right here on the channel. And I was thinking, oh, I wonder what it is. Could it be Qatar Airways? Could it be something else? Bank of America they spoke to. I don't know if that went cold or whatever, but there are certainly options. And Stefan Borsen is saying on TalkSport, we're not going to get that much money. He is a salty whopper though. Let's hear what he has to say. So Stefan Borsen reckons it's going to be 40 to 45 million quid. He says Chelsea haven't been able to close a deal. So Borsen said the following: The Athletic said that they're close. They said on a number of times, in fact. Quite a few people have reported that they are close. Chelsea haven't been able to close a deal. They have closed the sleeve sponsorship deal with a Vietnamese IT company. It looks like they're the biggest in Vietnam, so at least they've done that. He goes on to speak about how he had Live Nation on a temporary basis. But speaking about the main front of shirt sponsor, he says, I would think you're looking at something like an average annual value for the shirt of about 40 to 45 million pounds. But either way, I would think whether it's November or December, they're going to have to announce something, because surely they're going to have something on the shirt for the next season. Well, I agree with that. We have to have something on the shirt for next season. It will be very interesting to see if Chelsea agree a sponsorship deal of an annual worth of 40 million pounds. That's what we got for Infinite Athlete. That wasn't even an entire season, and we were bad. And we were, we were all over the gaff, and we still managed to get that. There were some interpretive links with Infinite Athlete. I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to get myself in any trouble. But yeah, 40 million quid. Come on. Back in the Champions League, won the prestigious Conference League. Obviously, more notably, won the Club World Cup. You get the gold badge on your shirt for 4 years. Even if you think that's a bit gimmicky, because you might be like let's just say, a salty Manchester City supporting TalkSport yapping. So close to swearing. Yeah, look. Maybe he's right. 40 million. That would be mental though. That is regression in a market that should be inflating. We used to get 40. What was 3? I think 3 was like 60. I'm going to Google this. Hold on. Okay, apparently it was around 45 million quid. Chelsea do want 60. You think more than 40 million. Champions League football, Club World Cup badge. I've said it before, a young, exciting team that you don't have a superstar that's going to retire next season. Say you sign a 5-year deal with a front of shirt sponsor, but Eden Hazard's going to Real Madrid next year, and you're going to have him. No. Cole Palmer's 23, Stevao's just got here, all the young, the captain Reece James, best right back in the league. They're all super young. They're all going to be getting better playing in the shirt with your sponsor on. It's a solid pitch, right? I mean, surely that's what it feels like in theory. So, I don't know, at this point, I don't really care that much. There's a certain pride in your team that you want. What do you want? You want your football team to score goals, win games, and maybe play entertaining football, but that's not necessarily a priority, yeah. That's what you want in life. Football's become kind of different where you point score on social media about financials, and when Chelsea haven't been lifting Champions League and Premier Leagues, sometimes it's like, oh, it's nice to hear they're doing good financial work. We're not going to go to the wall. So you kind of like take comfort in knowing that your club has secured good financial deals. So it feels like it should be more, but what the ruddy heck do I know? I'm citing this knobber again because it's in the mainstream media, and heck, that's what I do. Let me know your thoughts, leave them down below. And let's move on and see what those frog legs, baguette munching reporters over in Sky Sports France I'm allowed to say that parce que je suis un demi-français homme moi. I can't even speak fluently. Let's move on and see what Sky Sports France is saying about the goalkeeper situation. Right, the following has been said, published in Sky Sports. This is a translated paragraph, so forgive it if it sounds fragmented or peculiar. Chelsea's management continues to seek an experienced goalkeeper to bolster their competition. The Blues are considering two major options. A loan for Marc-Andre ter Stegen? What? Who is lacking time at FC Barcelona, of course, but they were also considering Mike Mignon for next summer. The Frenchman from Milan, whose contract is out, would represent a top-level free transfer opportunity. In both cases, the London management considered these players a significant improvement over Robert Sanchez. I would agree with these people in the Chelsea management. Again, I'm reluctant to hate on Rob Sanchez while he's not doing any howlers. He has been a servant of sorts in positive times. Of course, he was really important in the Club World Cup achievement for Chelsea, and he deserves his flowers for those. You can have some flowers, put them in a pot of water, and get out of here. Right, seriously though, I'm not really going to talk about Mike Mignon. You know, he's a great goalkeeper, he's France's #1, he's 30 years old, he's a senior experienced player, he's won the Scudetto with Milan. He, of course, was he in the squad when France won? He must have been in the squad when they won the World Cup. It was obviously Hugo Lloris was France's #1 at the time. But he is an experienced, very good player. You know, we've heard stories about Mike Mignon, or I have, you know, from a good journalist saying that he'd, you know, go in the dressing room in the France national team and have a go at Mbappe and Griezmann, like superstars, and be like, do your job, which I quite like. Look, he'll be a free transfer. We know Bayern Munich are looking at him to replace Neuer. It would be a tricky one to get. We should have bought him last summer. Let's move on. But ter Stegen, yeah? Ter Stegen's an interesting one. Because I've always seen him as like, yeah, he's one of the elite, world's elite goalkeepers. Mainly on the premise of he's in the goal for Barcelona. Do you know what I mean? I never really saw him as like top, maybe top 5. And fair enough, correct me if I'm wrong if you disagree with this down in the comments. But he was always respected as an elite goalkeeper. Like, if someone said to you, who's a better goalkeeper right now, ter Stegen or Robert Sanchez, I think, you know, you'd have to say ter Stegen, even though he's been benched for the moment. And there was some controversy in the summer where he was doing a Wolf on Wall Street, wasn't he? Like, I'm not effing leaving, because they were bringing in the new lad, I forget his name. Yeah, I mean, it's tricky, isn't it? Because in theory, it sounds like, cool, a high-profile senior goalkeeper to come in and settle things down. And then maybe in practice, it could be he does some silly stuff because he doesn't know what the defenders want to do. And it's like, wow, let's bring Rob Sanchez back in. But a shock loan move? Interesting. You might fancy it because he's not playing football for Barca. If you say, do you want to go to Southwest London, you know, best place in England in terms of like, you know, nice high quality place in London, you know, come down here, play some football for the Club World Cup champions, could be worse, and play in the Champions League as a starting goalkeeper, certainly could be worse. It's a very interesting, of course this is coming from Sky Sports, slow sports news, whatever you want to call them. But then, you know, often no smoke without fire. But how big is this fire? Is it a big, you know, burning blaze? Or is it a tiny little flame that is irrelevant? Who knows? We will, of course, follow all developments here on Football Therapy. Okay, let's move on and talk about another Frenchman, like Mike Mignon, but this time a centre-back in Dayot Upamecano. Christian Falk has informed CF Bayern that Chelsea are interested in signing the French defender next summer for free. The Blues could be looking to offload Axel Disasi. I would correct that. We're not could be looking, that is absolutely definitely looking. In 2026, and Dayot Upamecano can be brought in as a replacement. Bayern have signed Nico Jackson on loan from Chelsea this summer, and they might be interested in signing him permanently. However, Chelsea need to be worried about the threat from La Liga giants Real Madrid. Yes, and that is a very real threat. No one loves a free transfer quite like Real Madrid. They always seem to get them, whether it's high-profile Kylian Mbappe's or Trent Alexander-Arnold's or Antonio Rudiger's. They do loads, don't they? They love to hoover them up. And, of course, being Real Madrid, they're alluring. Look, I love Chelsea. Chelsea, for me, are the biggest club in the world because they're the club I support. But the real biggest club in the world is Real Madrid, those silly sods. And Dayot Upamecano might be interested, almost certainly will be interested in going there over us. But maybe Chelsea can convince him. The interesting thing is, he's on 168k a week, there's certain reports suggest, which is totally payable by Chelsea for a senior player. Like, we pay Reece James 200k. That's obviously before the new structure came in. We wouldn't give that now. But I think the Chelsea hierarchy are happy to pay James that because he's amazing and he's the captain. But, you know, I think 180k is Caicedo, something similar, which is more than Diop and Meccano. But, of course, him being a free transfer, you could say, yeah, we'll carry on paying you your Bayern wages, but here's a 15, 20... How much are sign-on fees? Millions and millions. Have millions of pounds. It's often alluring, you know? And maybe Chelsea can do that. Do we want to sign Diop and Meccano? Well, this is a next summer thing. This isn't a weird January, you know, Ter Stegen loan thing. So it'd be after a while where we analyse what we've got a little bit more. Has Wesley Fofana's legs healed? Can he play football? How much are we trusting Josh Jampong? Are Tosin and Chalobah just staring at the ball against the Sunderland forward and forgetting how to defend? You know, has Levi Colwill returned and recovered and looked like the defender he was at the end of last season in the Club World Cup? There's so much to learn. You know, is Mamadou Sarr going to return and play well? What is Aaron Anselmino doing? I keep saying it, so I'm going to look right now what he's doing. Turns out, absolutely nothing. He had that amazing debut for Borussia Dortmund where they kept tweeting about him, how he's a brick wall, and he's been never seen again. I'm guessing he's injured. Is he injured? He's played a total of 82 minutes or something? Yeah, it was an injury. He had a really good start to his Borussia Dortmund career in terms of his debut, but again, let him have some more minutes throughout the season and then we can make an educated decision where we are with our thousands of centre-backs and who do we need to bring in, should we need to bring someone in. Look, there might still be a chance we can convince Uncle Mark Gurhey to come home to Chelsea and be an elite starting centre-back. Who knows? Who knows? I don't. We'll have to see what happens. We need to see more games played by this Chelsea side. Who's grown up, who's come off the injury bench, and who's developed. What's happening? Time will tell. But maybe, I mean, often seniority with this Chelsea side sounds alluring, doesn't it? Let me know your thoughts. Comment down below. Do keep it locked to Football Therapy. I'm very glad to have you hanging out here with me, so thank you for supporting, liking, subscribing, hyping up the video, and I hope to see you back here very soon. Take care, mate. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy talk. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.